My day could start at 2 a.m. in the morning. It could start at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It all depended on when that person I was selling to called my phone. Didn't matter if it was 2 o'clock in the morning, I would get my daughter up. We would go, if it was in Harford County, Cecil County, even as far as Pennsylvania, we would drive there to make the money. Back in 2004, met a guy, things went great. By the beginning of 2005, I became pregnant with my daughter. During my pregnancy, I had lost my job. Couldn't find employment due to the pregnancy, nobody would hire me, so I resorted to selling drugs. Throughout the time that I was selling drugs, I was in an extremely abusive relationship with my daughter's father. He would punch me like I was a man, steal from me, spit on me. There's no ends to some of the stuff he had done to me. I was in such a wrong place. When I would go do drug sales, my daughter would be in an infant seat and in the back of the car when I went to go make the sales. At that time, I had no relationship with God, none at all. I didn't go to church. I didn't believe at all. It was, compared to what I have now, it was completely different. There was one night back in 2008 where I was just so fed up with the abuse from my daughter's father, the running, ripping and running, trying to sell drugs to make money, that I was laying in my bed, and I just broke down in tears and I said, God, you gotta get me out of this. I prayed so hard that God would change my life, and He did. About 2 days later, I was arrested with almost an ounce of crack cocaine on me. My total time served was 23.5 months. For 4 months, I seen my daughter when she was 2.5 behind glass. The first time I got to hold her is when I was transported to DOC out in Jessup. And when I picked her up and hugged her, she says, "Mommy, there's no glass, you can come home." Those words right there, seeing the pain in her eyes when that hour was up and I had to tell her bye, allowed me to know what I was doing was wrong, and I could never go back to that life again. It wasn't until Easter of 2012 when my mom said, "Hey, let's go try Restore Church." When I went there, it was like a church I had never been to before. 2 years later, I'm still here and still serving and waiting for the next service every time I come. That's when I found God. About 5, maybe 6 months into me coming to Restore Church and being faithful and praying and trying to be the better Christian, God gave me a job opportunity that was double the pay I was making. Blessing me with enough money to where I can still take care of my daughter on my own and to buy a house. You know, it feels so good to know I can go outside now and I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to wonder or worry, you know, what's around the corner for me, because I know God's watching over us and has watched over me every step of the way, even before I knew He was watching me. I am Angela Lambert, and I've been restored.